What's up, Project Cars 2 fans? David Land here, and welcome to the Roar Before the 24, the first of several videos this month leading up to the real-life Rolex 24 at Daytona. Today on tap for you is an LMP3 race. There are two of these prototypes in Project Cars 2. There is the Ligier chassis, and then there is the Ginetta, the car that you see before you right now, and the car that I will be driving in this video. These cars are powered by identical Nissan V8 engines, and while they don't participate in the Rolex 24 itself, they do participate in an IMSA sanctioned series which supports the Rolex 24, and in fact had its first race of the season this weekend at the Roar Before the 24 test. So we've got a 20-minute simulation of that LMP3 IMSA Prototype Challenge Series race. We've got 15 opponents. We're starting at the back. I didn't have the greatest qualifying effort in the world. I was just slightly off the pace. I've got the AI cranked up to 108%, so hopefully we'll have a nice competitive and close race because these prototypes are actually very similar to the old Grand Am Daytona prototypes, not only in their sound but in their lap time. These cars race very close. They race very well on this track. There's going to be lines and lines of prototypes going around the banks of Daytona. So let's see how far I can get up the field in 20 minutes in a Ginetta P3 car. So here we are, ready to go racing at the Roar Before the 24 Prototype Challenge LMP3 cars. Lights are coming up, waiting for the green lights to go, and we are racing at Daytona, making it 3 wide already. Good start from us, and now into the very treacherous first corner here. It's going to tighten up quite a bit. We're going to stay to the outside, make sure we don't run into here. Everybody else kind of using a very liberal amount of tarmac there as we head into the International Horseshoe for the first time. Nowhere to go. We just kind of have to lock the brakes down there and try to work around the outside here. Everybody very cautious through the Horseshoe. And now on to the road course back straightaway, side by side ahead of us. It's my teammate, I guess you could call it, in one of the other Ginettas, and one Ligier, as we're going to work around the outside here. Had to kind of jam on the brakes there. Wasn't sure what was going to happen ahead of me. I don't really like that second Horseshoe. It's very easy to lock the rear brakes up and send the car spinning around. Oh, I think I kind of boxed out a car there. I saw the indicator there that looked like we were very close for a second as we head out onto the banking. I didn't get the best run through there. I should have been in second gear on the corner that leads up to the banking, or the final corner on the road course, I should say. And now we head up to the bus stop chicane. We're about mid-pack, so that's good for the first lap here. We're going to see what happens here in the bus stop. Down to fourth gear. Hit third gear, try to get a good exit off of there. I know I can gain a lot of time in the AI through there. For whatever reason, the AI kind of run a wide line through there. And if you can kind of cut it in on the second right-hander in the bus stop, you can really gain a lot of time. And we are gaining a big draft down here through NASCAR 3 and 4. Working to the inside. One of the Ligier's very slow there. We're going to have a big run, maybe get 3 positions. We're kind of put on the yellow line there by that Ginetta, and we'll let him have that position for now. We'll chase him in the inner loop here. Staying in third gear for turn 1. Seems like some of the guys managed to slow each other up here ahead. Ooh, that was very tight there, but we managed to make it stick around the outside of a Ginetta, and now down the back straightaway once again of the road course, heading into the kink. We're behind a Ligier now, maybe a couple Ligiers now. I look at kind of the back profile of these cars, and man, oh man, I had no brakes there. It's funny, this car will bait you into thinking you have really good brakes, and then you try to use them in a corner like that. It just doesn't work. Not very good through that corner either, leading on to the banking, so we're probably going to have that Ginetta just behind us get a run here unless we have a lot of speed. You have to set these cars up, interestingly enough, these prototype cars for the Daytona Highbanks. You have to raise them off the ground. You have to raise the ride height so they don't drag on the banking. They produce so much downforce that they smack the ground and slow you down. Oh, and there's the brake issue once again. I braked way too late, completely blew the chicane there. Thankfully, did not have any kind of trouble. The game isn't penalizing me for that, thankfully. So we're good. Unfortunately, we did lose a little bit of time to that Ligier just ahead of us. Like I said, these cars kind of race like the old Daytona prototype, so it kind of turns into a bit of an oval race. You know, when you get on the banking, you don't get a lot of separation. It's all about the draft, and if you lose the draft, it's not a good thing. As we get into third gear there, that's the best way to minimize the wheel spin. I should say these cars don't have ABS or traction control like kind of their big brothers, the P2 cars have. These are very bare bones prototypes. They're fun to drive, but they can bite you very easily if you don't respect them. And I wasn't really respecting them on that last lap, so let's try to be a little bit easier on the brakes, brake a little bit earlier into the second horseshoe here. Still didn't quite get the car where I wanted it to. Kind of missed the apex there, and we're going to head off into the final corner before the banking. Car was very unstable there. It felt like it was bouncing quite a bit, porpoising, I guess you could say, but I don't know if that's quite the right word. I know porpoising is a thing that kind of happens on straightaways. I guess on the banking here, the car is definitely doing a lot of porpoising, bouncing up and down. Not a lot of fun. But we're chasing down this Ligier just ahead of us. I think if we get a good run through the chicane here, we might have a shot at him. So we had a good apex there, down a gear. Didn't quite catch that apex. The right-hander apex. I kind of got it on the left, but if you can just catch the right wheel on that curb there, you can really gain a lot of time. They're side by side just ahead of me. One of the prototypes is making a pass on another one. Might be a Ligier passing a Ginetta there. Seems like we're about mid-pack. We're right about halfway through the field.
Good job. Keep pushing. You're reeling him in. This is great stuff. Line him up and squeeze fast.
Ooh, that's very wide out there. We're going to catch the curbs just a little bit. I tried to be ginger on the brakes as to not lock them up into turn one, and it turned out I went in too softly, and I didn't get the car quite stopped the way I wanted to, so I've pretty much blown all the advantage I could have gained in the first sector of this track. And I definitely have that Ginetta that's behind me, or now it's a Ligier, all up my back, so I've kind of got to get through this final corner onto the banking a little bit better. I don't know if I quite got through there well enough that he's not going to have a run on me. We'll have to see down here at the bus stop. We're going to run about 10 to 12 laps over 20 minutes, just FYI. And now we've got that Ligier all over the back of me. Very late braking by me there. We're side by side. We were there for a second. He didn't quite cowboy it around the outside, but boy, oh boy, did he try. I saw the position indicator there. It was not... We were definitely close. But it seems like I got a pretty decent run. We are catching those cars ahead of us. If I can just get through the inner loop a little bit better, but boy, oh boy, does that Ligier have a nice run on me here. He may pass me going into turn one. Oh boy, there's a lot of cars behind me. Please don't hit me, please don't hit me. Nice pass around the outside from that Ligier. We have to really save it there. Save it again. Oh, man, I lose 2 positions there because the car danced around under the brakes. This isn't the worst thing in the world, though. We can use these cars ahead of us on the banking, assuming we don't let them get too far away, and kind of suck up back to that pack ahead of us. Assuming I don't drive like complete dog crap here. Lose a little bit of time to the Ginetta there. just ahead. Find those apex curbs on the throttle. Come on, baby. I didn't get quite off there the way I'd like to, but I may have a good run here. We'll have to see. Of course, the question is, can I do anything with this? The bus stop chicane isn't really a place you like to pass the AI unless you've got it clean. Here we go. Side by side. Clean move. He looks. We hold him off there and actually get through the chicane pretty well, if I may say so myself. There you hear it. Best in Sector 2, probably just because of that draft I had and the amount of speed I was able to carry on the banking. It's amazing how much your lap time can be affected just from a little sniff of draft here at Daytona, especially in these cars. Again, the power is just not quite there to get them around the banking as fast as you generally like. Now here we go into turn 1. Missed the apex a bit, but that was certainly better than I've gotten through there in a few laps, so that's good. Into the horseshoe and out of it. Pretty decent. That's probably my best section of the course, or at least where I can make up the most time on the AI. Get it down, decent apex. Kind of using third gear as a makeshift traction control to keep the car from getting out of shape on the throttle. Onto the banking once again. I think we have enough of a lead on that Ginetta behind us that we're not going to have to worry about him drafting up to me by the inner loop. Or the, excuse me, the bus stop. Oh yeah, we're definitely pulling away there. So now we got to try to chase down this car ahead of us. It's going to be about being smooth, hitting our marks, which we kind of did in that chicane there. I think we gained a bit of ground, which we just need to keep doing. You know, it's funny, once we get up into this pack ahead of us, I think we're going to start leapfrogging cars if we can do it. They're not spread out to the point where we can definitely start making some moves and really start moving up through the field. If we can just run smoothly, that's going to be the key. So we head off into turn 1 here.
Prove the weakness, let him feel your presence.
I'm still missing that apex in turn 1. I'm not quite where I need to be. Down to second gear. Funny, the car behind me is starting to catch me. Somebody has come up past the white Ginetta. I think it's a blue Ginetta. It's hard to kind of tell. There's a lot of similarly colored cars in this field. Now up through the gears. I feel like I lost a little bit of time.
Okay, we've got some pressure from behind.
To the car ahead, and certainly to the car behind. Where did he come from? Well, he's going to be all up my rear end here in a second, so clearly my theory's right. I'm helping pull this other car behind me up into the fight. He must have a lot of downforce for the inner loop, because it doesn't really seem like he's closing in on the straight here. But we're certainly closing in to the car just in front of us through the bus stop. And yeah, we're going to have a big run here. That was perfect through there. Through NASCAR 3 and 4. Could have probably stayed behind him just a little bit longer to get a little bit more of a draft going there, but we'll pass. Nice and clean on that Ginetta. And now try to get back up into the fight. So we got a couple more cars we can try to overtake up here. Down into second gear. Didn't quite kiss that apex again. You can get right down next to the wall if you really hit that properly in turn 1. And I wasn't quite there as we go way out over the curbs. Track limits, who needs them? through the kink on the back straightaway. There's definitely a big line of traffic up here.
7 minutes remaining.
You can already hear only 7 minutes remaining. Man, we are burning this race down. Fast and furious. As we head up onto the banking once again. Where is that Ginetta? Not very close, so that's good. The black Ginetta, the black and blue Ginetta, that really had us covered there for just a second. I guess for whatever reason his run didn't quite pan out the way he wanted to, because I thought he was going to fly up and pass me. He didn't quite get there. Down into 4th gear, find those apexes, David. That was pretty good through there, I think. That was pretty good through there. Yep, and I was rewarded with my best Sector 2 time. So, yeah, I definitely hit that chicane just right. And now we've got to get in behind this Ginetta or Ligier or, let me just say, LMP3 car ahead of us. Definitely think we'll catch him by the next lap. Don't know if we'll get up to that group ahead of this car, but we'll see. My personal fastest lap of the race. Not fastest overall. That was a much better apex through turn 1. I kept the car in 3rd gear. I'm kind of shocked that I got that kind of drive off of the corner, launching the car in 3rd gear. But I'm not going to complain about it. And I think this car qualified on the pole just ahead of us. It's the black and blue and pink car. And I know one of those cars started on the pole, and I'm pretty sure one of them is also behind me. So we're coming up to the car that qualified on the pole as I got the car a little bit loose there. I was worried it was going to step out on me. Kind of backed out of it. Onto the banking once again. I think if we can nail that chicane, I think we're going to get him. Because I think we're way faster on the straightaway here. Up to 6th gear. We're probably in his draft at this point, but obviously we're not getting a huge tow yet. Down to 4th gear. Kind of missed the apex there, but it's not going to matter. We're going to have a huge run on him. Okay, now where do we pass him? Inside, I guess. That guy's definitely not an oval track driver, because he kind of just had the car stuck in the middle of the track. Wasn't really choosing a lane there. I was a little bit worried he was just going to weave all over the place. Okay, we've got a group of 3 prototypes up there. I don't know if we're going to have the time to pass them, but we're going to try for it, shall we? So 3rd gear seems to be the right gear to take through there. 4 minutes remaining. That's about 3 laps. Ooh. I went in there in 3rd gear, and that was a bad idea. Yes, I understand that. If you could key the mic and talk to the race engineer, that'd be fun in this game. Maybe someday. We are coming close to this group up here. I think we may be able to get to this group of about 3 to 4 prototypes, and that'll be an interesting finish, that's for sure. But again, we have to really hit our apexes, and that prototype behind us is still right there. It is still right there. So we're certainly not out of the woods when it comes to that car, and certainly not quite in the place we need to be position-wise. Wasn't amazing through there, wasn't amazing, but again, I think we gained some time. Probably going to have 2 laps to go after this one. The way the lap times are going to fall. Certainly the leader will probably cross the line before it hits 0 on the clock. Wow, we really pulled out a huge gap behind that, right to the car behind us. Is there a car off? There's a car slow ahead of us. That was weird. That's very weird. It actually got in my head a little bit seeing a car on the looked like on the apron. That's very weird. What was that going on there? Almost looked like a car came out of the pit lane, but that didn't make any sense. Very strange. Well, okay. That's in my head, but we've got like 5 prototypes just ahead of me. If we get one more lap, I think we're going to get a lot of positions here. Very, very late on the brakes there. Just trying to keep the car on the straight and narrow here until we get to the banking. I know we can make up a lot of time in that chicane. All I want is one more lap, because I know we can really make up a lot of positions here. Into the chicane. Clipped that apex, kind of. Wasn't my greatest corner. Well, we've got to try to pass him because... Yeah, this is the last lap. We've got to pass him. So we got to go for it here. To the outside. I don't know what the spotter just said, but we got him. So one position down. We've got several up here we can get. There you go. Final lap. That's exactly what I needed. We've got at least 2 prototypes up here we can take. Probably a few more. We'll have to see what we can do here in the inner loop. Looks like a car without a wing just ahead of me. Is that for real? Almost looks like the car... Yes, that's exactly what I saw. He's very slow. Well, that's annoying.
That's 5th place. Great driving.
What on earth is there a guy doing running around without a wing? Goodness gracious. Get that bleep box in the pits, dude. I'm trying to run a race here. Well, we lapped somebody. That's interesting. Okay, can we get this Ginetta? Seems like this may be the last position we can get. Oh, we got a good run here. We got a really good run. Come on, baby. 6th gear. Can't pull any more power out of this car than we already have. Nice run, nice pass. Good night, Dolly. And on to the banking for the final time. Best Sector 2 time. Got quite a few prototypes ahead of us. Don't know where we're going to end up finishing. We'll take a look at the results once we finish. But this will be a nice result. This was a fun race, an exciting race. Lots of passing, lots of excitement. And as we come through the tri-oval for the final time, we'll take position wherever we have it. Fun race. Fun race. So, we just missed out on a podium. Man, we were so close, actually. If we'd had one more lap, we would have been right up there. You can see my lap times just slightly off the best lap. We were about a second, 1.1 seconds, I should say, off the best lap. Down through the rest of the field. One car didn't even finish the race, it looks like. 1 lap down for Sergio Martins, who is, of course, the driver who is technically my teammate because we share the same livery. And then one of these cars back here, I think it was Justin, was the car missing the wing. He really should have been in the pits. So that was LMP3 at Daytona. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button on it and subscribe for more Project Cars 2 and Rolex 24 at Daytona coverage. We got the Bandwagoner's Guide coming up, and if you don't know what that is, you're going to want to find out. So, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.